Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Chris Crazy House is in the house and ready to talk about some race bending. If you are here and you want to jump in there, make sure you hit the like button and make sure you let me know in the chat. Make sure you can hear me. It looks like the levels are working well. I'm checking the microphone right now. The levels seem to be working just fine. So, but just to make sure you can hear me over the stream. And I'm going to make sure I link this here. I'm going to share this on Facebook. Let people know I'm live now talking about race bending. Live discussion. Right now. I might do one for Twitter as well. All right. So yes, I want to talk about race bending. I can see just by the the people showing up on this one already that this is a subject that people want to talk about. And I'm going to let you know from the jump that my opinion on race bending is not going to be the cliche one. It's not going to be what you might think it's going to be. And what I mean by that is while I do consider myself a black nerd, I'm not part of the black nerd community. And the reason for that is because a lot of these folks, for one thing, I question their nerdhood. In my opinion, just wearing these hipster glasses is not being a nerd. These are prescription. I have to wear these glasses or else I can't see. There's a lot of folks out there who are perpetrating a fraud who are just lame or whatever in high school, or who were popular in high school and then they're trying to find some identity as an adult because they don't really fit in any type of category. So now they're trying to pretend that they were nerds. In my opinion, when I was a nerd, you had to over excel academically. You had to be in some advanced classes. I took advanced classes when I was in middle school and high school. You had to have some very nerdy extracurricular activities, whether that be school newspaper, band, or what's the other one? National Honor Society, chess club, debate team, stuff like that. That's what us nerds used to do. I was part of computer clubs and everything else. I used to stay back before you guys knew what the internet and social media was. Back in the early 90s, I was on the internet messing around trying to figure out how everything worked. I was looking up movie trailers back in 1997, 1996. It took forever to load those things up, but I did what I had to do because I was a nerd back then. I used to dip out at skip school to go to the comic book store. I used to skip school to go to or dip out of my lunch period so I can go to the library. That's what it meant to be a nerd in my day. Nowadays, it seems like there are a lot of kids in there or people in there who are perpetrating a fraud. So I question your nerd gangsterhood. That's just my humble opinion. But I just say that to separate myself from the quote unquote black nerd groups out there, because there are a lot of people out there who consider themselves black nerds, but really all they're doing is begging for a spot at the table or begging for scraps off the table. And I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes, but just let me know you're in here. I'll see the likes and stuff going up and the viewer count going up. But if you're in the chat, you can always join in on the discussion. Last week I was kind of on the roll, so I didn't get a chance to discuss as much from the questions in the comment section or in the chat. But if you come in here now, I promise I'll try to get to you better than I did last week. So just one announcement as well. I will not be doing a live stream next week, only because next week is going to be hectic. I have my daughter is going to be here with me all week because she has fall break, which I don't know. I don't know what's up with kids nowadays. You get spring break, fall break, winter break, and all those other breaks in school. I had to go to school 24/7, it seemed like. I remember getting a break for Christmas and a spring break around Easter. But nowadays, kids get a break for whatever reason they can, and then they wonder why American kids do so poorly academically. But that's just my opinion. uh, but yeah, so she'll be out of school next week, so I want to spend some time with her, and I definitely won't be able to do Thursday or Friday. The other parts of the week, and I'll be busy as well doing working on some of my projects. So a lot of naturally cute stuff and a lot of Heru Jackson stuff I'm going to be working on. I'm trying to get the new naturally cute coloring book done before Black Friday in November. We'll see how that goes. And I'm trying to get the Heru Jackson coloring book done before Christmas, or at least before the new year. So we'll see how that goes. I'm working hard on that. Yeah, isn't that weird how kids have fall break all of a sudden? I didn't have fall break. I was in school. I was in school the whole time during the fall. Like I didn't. We went because I went to school in the Northeast, so we went to school started in September, and we didn't get like a week off or whatever until Christmas time. Or you got like those 3 days around Thanksgiving, but that was it. It wasn't a full week, and we didn't get like a week off until Christmas time. But now I don't know, these kids nowadays, they got it easy. They got it good. I wish I had fall break back then. That'd been awesome. But yeah. Uh Today I'm going to be talking about race bending. And for those who are unfamiliar with that term, what it means is you take a character who is traditionally one race and you change that character into a different race based on maybe it's in a different medium or within the same medium, and you that kind of changes the dynamics of the character. Now, this has been done a lot within the comic book industry, and it's done a lot now with the comic books when they're switching as far as being from just a straight comic book to a uh, a different medium, whether it's going to be on TV or be in movies. So, and this is different from different types of characters who have the same mantle. Like this is different from like the classic one is they people will bring out as Green Lantern, but Green Lantern is not a race bended character. That's two different characters that you're talking about within the Green Lantern core. There's John Stewart, who was the Black Green Lantern, and then there's Hal Jordan, who was the Silver Age Green Lantern. So those are two different characters that have inhabited the same mantle. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like if they actually took Batman and made Bruce Wayne a black person, which which is funny because there was a discussion recently on a Black Nerd page where they talked about what if all the cast of Batman, what if they were all black and they were picking all these different black actors like Idris Elba playing Bruce Wayne and whatnot. And I just thought it was silly and actually kind of pathetic when I saw it. And this happened years ago when because I remember back in what was it 2012, 2013, where you had a lot of black nerds out there begging for this movie, like begging for a Black Panther movie. Now this is like a vintage Black Panther shirt, so it's not like this is not based on the movie. This is based on the actual comic book. But because Marvel was making all these different types of movies, they were begging Marvel to make a Black Panther movie. And I remember that. And I thought that back then was kind of pathetic, and like it was funny because Marvel was giving them all types of excuses as to why they would not make a Black Panther movie, and they finally just gave up and made one. Because for those who don't remember, Kevin Feige said that he didn't believe that Black Panther was a viable commodity for the Marvel universe. Back when they were first doing their Marvel Cinematic Universe, he didn't think that was a good way to go. And he said that I remember he said specifically that they couldn't do. There'd be no way to do a technologically advanced society like Wakanda. And I shot back at him because I said, okay, well, if you can do Asgard, a completely fantasy made up place, but you can't do Wakanda. And a lot of people they agree with me on that one. Even though I'm like I said, I was not a supporter of or begging for a Black Panther movie. The movie was okay, but for me, it's not so much as there's so much good black content made by black creators out there. I'd rather go and support that than be like, oh, I need the mainstream to produce something like this. So and that's the problem I have with a lot of black nerds is that they need the mainstream. They need Marvel or DC or the Star Wars universe or whoever to make them a black character so that they can, and basically it's just so they can feel comfortable and feel like they're on the in crowd with their white counterparts in the nerd community. Even though the nerd community pretty much hates their guts, but they want to feel that they're part of that community and they want to be able to be alongside their white friends and have a character that they can glam onto and be within that white universe. And I always made the reference that uh, a lot of black nerds just want to be a part of a white man's fantasy. That's why they're so supportive of these projects that are more mainstream. And if a black person makes a certain project, they say that that's that black hotep stuff. I don't want to read that or I don't want to watch that. That's that black stuff, which is hilarious to me. That's their reaction anytime a black person comes out with a project. But if a white person comes out with a black character, then they fall all over themselves and have a almost like a nerd orgasm over whatever new character or whatever they make for the mainstream. So for me, like I said, it's not that big of a deal. Uh, I'm not one of these people who needs to have a race bending character. I don't need to have a black Spider-Man for me to want to read Spider-Man, or I don't need a black Superman for me to want to go see that, or a black Batman or whatever. To me, I think that's kind of silly. But and here's the thing: I understand inkling of where that desire comes from, but I think black fans and black nerds go about it in the wrong way. I understand that there's hardly any uh, black characters out there that you can be proud of, or black characters at all, and you feel left out of the quote unquote uh, fandom that you love or that you're a part of. Peace to you, Leonard. Thank you for showing up. So a lot of black nerds feel like they're left out of that fandom, and they feel like they have nothing to hold on to. But in my opinion, there are black projects out there. You just have to go out there and look for them and find them. They're not going to be mainstream all the time. They're not going to be right there in your face, or they're not going to be produced by Disney. I'm going to talk about this in a second. Hold on. Like I remember when Disney came out with that Frog Princess, I knew from the jump that was going to be some nonsense before I even saw it, and I was like, okay, I'm not too sure about this, but they had the Black Princess, and a lot of black people took their daughters to see that, and to me, that was something you need to be careful of because, like I said, when you depend on other folks to give you your content, they can always slip something else in there that may degrade or something that may regress you and you might not see it coming because you were just so desperate to have a black character there. That black princess in that Princess and the Frog movie was not really the best image of a young black girl they should have been putting out there. I mean, they showed that the only positive black male in her life dies early. You know, a lot of these other characters, a lot of white female characters, you notice their father is usually there. They made sure to get rid of her father very early on in the movie. She barely gets to appear as a princess in the movie. She's not even a princess. She's a girl that works at a restaurant and has dreams of owning her own restaurant. So they're all, even that they're trying to perpetuate the nonsense about the strong independent black woman thing, right? And her prince is not black. Prince Naveen, I don't know where he's supposed to be from. Like it would have been so easy to get an actual African prince and put them in that movie, but they made sure not to do that. Every other Disney princess has a white prince to be with, no matter how much fantasy it is or how close to reality is, they always have someone of their kind to be with. But they didn't do that for Tiana. They got her a man of a different race. Like I said, I don't know what he's supposed to be, but he wasn't black. I know that. Uh, like I said, she didn't get to appear to. Didn't get to be a princess throughout the movie. She was a frog through most of the movie. And like I said, it was just to me, it was almost more degrading. And even then, by the end, it's not like she becomes royalty or anything. She just gets her own restaurant to run on her own, and she's got to do it on her own. Her man is really no help to her. Prince Naveen is no help. He was just there playing music or whatever. So to me, it wasn't the ideal of what uh, a quote unquote black princess movie should have been. And you notice they don't do that to the white princesses in Disney. So that's the good example of what I'm talking about. Like when you start begging people for these things, be careful what you wish for, because it might not be what you wanted to see. All right. Uh, but recently, the reason I brought up this subject to begin with is because recently they announced that in this new Batman movie that they got starring the sparkly boy from Twilight, he's going to be playing Batman, and they're going to have a black actor playing Commissioner Gordon for the first time. So Jeffrey Wright, who's a very accomplished actor, one actor that I love to see, they said that he's going to be playing Commissioner Gordon. And there are some rumors out there that when Marvel, now that they have a hold of the whole X-Men franchise, that they might start putting some black people in there to play traditional X-Men characters, like having a black actor or Hispanic actor play Magneto, or a black actor playing Charles Xavier. Which, like I said, to me is silly. And what's funny is like they want to make these things and then like they want to set them in the real world. And I already said, like, I made a joke on that Black Nerds page where they talked about Bruce Wayne or Batman being black. I was like, Batman, if he was black, he'd have been locked up. Gotham PD would have had a whole SWAT team looking for him 24/7 if Batman was black. He would not be able to run out there and do that. And they would have found out his secret identity. They would have raided his mansion and every damn thing. Took all his money. If he was messing with Catwoman would have called Me Too to get rid of Batman. Uh, Batman would not be able to operate if he was a black man. Just saying that. That's almost a funny parody in and of itself if anyone ever wanted to do that. But he definitely wouldn't be able to have children around him. He's adopting all these children, and people are asking what's up with that. They'd accuse him of being gay and say he was probably molesting Robin and everything else. Batman would not be able to operate in the same fashion if he was a black man. Just saying. Okay. Wayne Corporation, he'd been a billionaire, he'd have lost all that money. They'd have made sure they found a way to get rid of his money somehow, or take away his Wayne inheritance. He wouldn't be allowed to own most of Gotham as a black man. I'll tell you that right now. So like I said, little things like that. And damn for sure, if Magneto was black, they'd have had a government hit squad ready to kill him. So like I said, let's not get too crazy now when we want to make some of these characters black, because we know they wouldn't be able to exist in these worlds if they were black. You see how people had a hissy fit over them making Sam Wilson Captain America for a while. What's up, Kimberly? And Kimberly is one of my longtime art friends, all the way back, going back to DeviantArt. And I know she agrees with me on how this race bending thing goes. And she's talked about it as well on her YouTube channel. Go follow her on YouTube or on social media, and also look at her artwork. Her artwork is amazing. But she's another one who, and I give Kimberly credit. I used to be more like her. I don't do it anymore because I think it's a waste of time. It's a waste of my time anyway. But she goes in on these black nerds on their channels. She goes back and forth with them to the point where she gets herself banned sometimes from YouTube. I feel bad for her, or from Facebook. She gets herself banned from social media platforms for going in on these fools. But I understand your frustration, Kimberly. I really do. But I gave up on that only because I got tired of having to explain to these Negroes what they should be doing and why they were wasting their time begging Marvel or whatever. I know it's almost like an uphill battle, or uh, it's like pulling teeth or banging your head into a brick wall trying to talk to these fools about race bending characters and whatnot. What's up to Joe Farrell, another art friend, very talented artist, and someone that does a lot of great vector work and logos and stuff like that. What's up to you, brother? Appreciate you for being here. Yeah, I guess yeah, their tears are very funny. Like I said, their tears keep me going sometimes because like I said that to me it's just and that's all it is whining, just to be whining. They whine so much, and then I have to hear that from these doughboys out here who want their characters to stay traditionally white. Then I got to hear their mouth about stuff. And here's the thing that I want to stress too about the race bending, because I don't want anyone to think that I'm on the side of the other boys out there. Okay, I'm not. Don't think because I don't need or want black race bending characters that I'm on the side of your typical white nerd out there who thinks that who's just angry at anything being changed, because I their tears are even funnier to me. Like I do get a kick out of when they do race bend the character. I laugh a little bit and it gives me joy inside to see their frustration. Like when they made Heimdall, the character Heimdall black in the Thor universe, that was funny to me. Like their reaction was funny to me because they had a fit, and that's because it means something to them. It's not just the comic book aspect, but making a traditional uh, god who was white, making him black, that just drove them insane. All right. And what's funny to me about that is they'll get mad over a mythological god being race bended, but for centuries they've been giving us the one true God, the one that they say is the one true God. They've been pushing that in our face and saying he is white. So they're mad that Heimdall's black, but they put Jesus and Jehovah in our face and say that he's white, and we're supposed to follow that. That's what's funny. They're mad about race bending in comic books, but they've literally race bended history. They told us all the Egyptians were white, even though the Egyptians worshiped the sun. I don't see what white person was worshiping the sun and not getting burned out there walking around with no clothes on. They've race bended Christianity. Uh, they race bend people in history all the time that are either traditionally black or of some other race, and they tell you that oh, these people are white, and we're supposed to go along with that. So, like I said, to me, like their tears are even funnier than some of the black nerd tears because like I can understand where the black nerds are coming from being deprived of something, but I don't agree with it. But I understand where they're coming from. These some of these white guys, they come from a group of people who have completely reversed and flipped history and reversed and flipped uh, people's religions, and they want you to be upset about some comic book character. So, like I said, to me, that's not. I'm not going to fall for that one. So when I talk about race bending characters, I'm talking about it from my own perspective. I'm not here regurgitating what these white guys say. So I don't want anyone to get confused about that. So yeah, the original the real life human being that the Lone Ranger is based off of is a black man. So like I said, stuff like that is what I'm talking about. It's like they get upset, but they've been doing that for years though. And even if you are a person of Native American descent, how many Native Americans have actually been in a movie about Native Americans? It's usually some white person playing a Native American. So that's what I'm saying. Is like they'll get butt hurt and bent out of shape about that, but want you to feel some type of way about Heimdall being black. You know, like I said, something that's not even really some stuff from a comic book, or because I remember back when they made that first Daredevil movie. Remember back during the 2000s but they made Daredevil with Ben Affleck, and they made the Kingpin black, which back then I didn't agree with either. I thought that was stupid, but uh, I just remember the nerd rage. So I used to this is like before a lot of message boards, but I used to go to like comic book stores and stuff like that. And those white boys would be upset, boy. They were upset about Michael Clark Duncan playing the Kingpin. And to me, it wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't like it, but I was just like, for me, it's almost just like whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I don't need him to be black. And I was looking at it sideways anyway. The fact that they had to make a black man the kingpin of crime. Like for me, I would take it that way. I was like, okay, why does he gotta be black then? They could have made him no other race, huh? But yeah, and I like Michael Clark Duncan. That's the thing. It's like that. I don't want to make it seem like I hate these actors or I hate some of these performers. I like Michael Clark Duncan, or when he was alive, I thought he was great as an actor. I had a problem with some of his movie roles, but I liked him as an actor. I like Jeffrey Wright. I think Jeffrey Wright is a great actor, but I don't need to see those people in these roles that are traditionally white just to like, because the reason Hollywood does it is just to get people like me to go watch the movie. They think if we throw a Negro in here or there, or sprinkle them in there, that will bring the Negroes and put their butts in the seats, and that's just not the case for me. You're not going to pander to me in that fashion or in that way. And it's not just happening in these movies. I did a video on my old YouTube channel talking about how it's starting to happen within a lot of these popular video games, and I warned about that because that's actually doing a disservice to people like me, or people like Kimberly, or brothers like Dawood who created Brother Man, or people like Mace, James Mason who created Urban Shogun, because we've been doing these black characters for a long time, and then what's that game? I was about to say Soul Calibur. That's not the one I'm talking about. Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear comes out with this black character who's like a black samurai, or Tekken is coming out with a character who's like a black kung fu master, and pretty much just biting the swag and biting the character designs that people like us have come up with for years. And they want us to follow that and want us to jump on that train now and just forget about the characters that we created years ago. And like I said, to me, that's like not one of the things. I don't want to do that. And I can see where the game is. They're stealing those characters, and they're stealing the ideas that we have. I told you that someone, I don't know who the main character designer was. I never found out his name, but the guy that was doing the character designs for that Witcher game, Witcher 3, he stole one of my character designs. Like I did some illustrations for. Now they're making a movie about that. You see what I'm saying? So they're stealing stuff from us and making it seem like it's stuff that they came up with, but they want to throw us bones like some of these race bended characters out here, like Miles Morales and whatnot. I know a lot of black nerds, they just love them some Miles Morales. I was never a fan of that, and I'm not one of those people who hates on it either. So I don't want people to twist it that way, where I'm like, oh, you're a bad person, a bad black person if you love this character. But to me, it was never that big of a deal. I never thought the character was all that great. And to me, that's what's lazy about a lot of these race bended characters, is that, oh, this character is black, so that's all that makes him different and special. It's like you can't write a compelling character. You just changing their color and making it seem like that's something great. Like the character of Iris on the Flash TV show, Iris West. In uh the comic books, Iris is white. Has always been traditionally white, but then they make her black on the Flash TV show, and there really is no substance to her character whatsoever. No disrespect to the actress. I think she's a decent enough actress. She's very pretty too, by the way. But there's really no substance to that character. She's black, so that's supposed to be what makes her unique, quote unquote. And they Hollywood loves to foment that whole interracial relationship thing, especially between black females and white males. So that's also part of their little agenda there. So, like I said, to me, it was not that was she was never a great character to see on TV. And then when they put black males in certain roles, like Diggle, he's pretty much Oliver Queen's servant on Arrow. It's the year 2015, 16, 17, and you still got black servants on TV. They've tried to help him out by making him a superhero, the Guardian or whatever. His costume is ridiculous, but whatever. And then one of the worst things they could ever do is they finally add Mr. Terrific to the Arrow show, and they make him a homosexual, which he's not in the comic book. So that's what I'm saying. You gotta be careful sometimes when you want characters from these folks because they might do something twisted like that. There was no reason whatsoever to make Mr. Terrific a homosexual on that show. Okay, other than the fact that I guess that Greg Berlanti was trying to cover several demographics in one. And instead of trying to break them down, now they would never make Oliver Queen gay. Oliver Queen gets all the women he wants on Arrow. And pretty much he has gotten all the women he wants. Like my friend and I have a running joke saying that the only two women he hasn't banged on that show are the woman that played his mom and his sister. Other than that, Oliver Queen got all the women on that show. All the all the females on that show, Oliver Queen has run through. But they make sure when they bring a black male on that show, he's not competing with Oliver Queen for manhood. Like I said, they'll make Diggle kind of a secondary character, or they'll make Mr. Terrific gay, and stuff like that is done purposely. Like I said, you gotta be careful with stuff like that. Yes, they did make. Yeah, Kimberly's just said they made Aqualad gay in the new Teen Titans. Well, not the Teen Titans show. It's the uh, Young Justice. Now that character had been around for a while, but then all of a sudden they turned out and made him gay. And like I said, to me, I laugh at stuff like this. I don't get offended by it. I don't get angry at it. It's funny to me, but they do that stuff purposely. And like I said, that's why you have to be careful when you start asking other people to put you in this content. Because with you, when they put you in there, it's always going to be something twisted about it. There's always going to be something backwards about it. And for those who will say I'm being homophobic because I don't like a black character being gay, please tell me about why are they not making the white mainstream characters gay then? If it's okay. If it's okay to be gay or whatever, why is Superman not gay? Why is Batman not gay? Why is Dick Grayson Robin not gay? If it's all in the good, if it's all to the good, then why not make them that way? So, but see, you'll do it to black characters though. Like I said, that's why I think that there's an agenda behind that. There's a reason behind that. All right, and that's why you'll never see me begging for a black character in these mainstream projects. Like I said, I have a good metaphor where I say if someone else is cooking your food for you, don't be surprised when they put something in there that's not good for you. Right? If you're not cooking your own food, you can't make sure of all the ingredients being put in there. They're going to put whatever they want in your food, and it might be poison in some spots. So just be careful. But yeah, and shout out to Sean James, is another extremely talented black creator. He's a writer. He does a lot of great books on Amazon. Please go check out his work. But he's he's someone that uh, I defer to, and I look to some of his content about these sorts of subjects because, like I gave up on a lot of these shows, but he still, kind of keeps in touch and watches them, and I trust his reviews of them because I know he has a good head on his shoulders. But like I said, I can't watch a lot of this stuff nowadays. I'd rather just watch something with no black people at all than have to see some nonsense where there's a black person in it and they just do him dirty on the show. So, or I just rather stick to black content that way. I know that it's coming from a place of people who actually give a damn about the characters and not there's not throwing a black character in there, or taking a white character and dipping him in chocolate and giving him no real story or no real character or no real dimension to him, just so they can, get black butts in seats. So that's my thing. It's like I don't really, so I don't go for the whole race bending idea. I never have. I think it's something that uh, it's lazy. In my opinion, it's almost like lazy writing. And the reason a lot of people do it is because it's shorthand. Even when they do characters who are gay, like think of all the characters who are gay in comics, and think about what is special about those characters. A lot of times, it's nothing. The only interesting gay characters I ever remember reading in comics is from that comic book, The Authority, that came out a few years ago. The Midnighter and Apollo. They're the only two interesting gay characters I remember ever being in comics, and their characters were defined and three dimensional. It wasn't about them all about them being gay. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's so many characters out there where that's like their whole persona is being gay, like North Star. I remember when he came out of the closet in the 90s, he was one of the first gay superheroes, and really there was nothing, no substance to him whatsoever. His powers were lame, his outfit was lame. Then he has like elf ears or whatever. Like the character himself is just lame altogether, but they make him gay, and that's supposed to be he's able to continue with all the X-Men books and Alpha Flight and everything just because he's gay. And of course, he has a black spouse as well. He made sure they put him on the cover, married to a black man. So, like I said, it's not just a coincidence that every gay character you see just happens to be black. Is very interesting, or a black male anyway. They've only recently started doing that with black females. With that new Batwoman series, they made sure her love interest is a black female. Did that show even come on yet? Or did the fans trash that show so bad that they just decided not to do it? That Batwoman show with the short white chick with the red hair or whatever. Did that ever come out? You guys let me know. I've never. It looked corny altogether. Like I wouldn't care if they had an all black cast. That trailer just looked corny as hell. Okay, it comes out this Sunday. That whole concept just looked real corny. And this is the thing. I liked the Batwoman that was in the comic books when that was one of the few decent books they had when the new 52 came out, was that Batwoman book. It was drawn very well. It had a very crime noir type feel to it. They had some cool stuff going on in that book, and that Batwoman character is a cool character. It's not all about her being gay. That just happens to be part of her secret identity, but her being gay is not what her character is about. But of course, and when they make this show, it's all about this feminism and gay. Now, in fact, she's so feminist that she is gay. She doesn't even like men anymore. That's essentially what they made the show about. Like I says, to me, that's lazy writing. That's what makes the characters lame, and that's why people are groaning and rolling their eyes when they see this crap put on screen. I'm surprised they didn't do that with Captain Marvel. Even though she had in the comics, doesn't she have a relationship with the War Machine, or she did before he got killed? That's another thing. They love killing black characters. You shouldn't be too excited about seeing a black character because he might not last too long. But Captain Marvel was getting it on with War Machine for a while, wasn't she? And then he died, and that's why they had the second Civil War, Marvel Civil War, another lazy writing grab, just redoing the same old crossover event over and over again. That's why I don't read mainstream comics anymore, because I got tired of that stuff. It was funny because I remembered DDP comics. They were funny. They were making fun of Marvel and DC at one time in their advertising campaign. Say, hey, aren't you tired of Civil Crisis or whatever the hell they got going on this month? Why don't you come read some DDP comics? I like that. That was funny. and that's a good way to advertise too. So I do get tired of that stuff. They just go around like really no repercussions to anything that happens with these big ass crossovers. Just the same thing happens over and over again, and they bring whatever character dies, they bring them back or whatever, or that character was really a clone or an alien or whatever, and they never really resolve anything. It just goes right back to status quo later on. So there's like no point. They never do anything cool with these characters. So I'd rather read stuff that's actually can hold my interest. I'd rather read some independent black books and have fun doing that. So anyway, that's all I want to talk about today, guys. I hope you understand my stance on race bending. It's not for me. It's not something that comic book companies need to do to get me to watch something. It's not going to get me to watch something. It might just make me roll my eyes. But don't get it twisted. I'm not on the side of the white guys who get bent out of shape because, like I said, they've race bended history. They've race bended religion. So for them to get upset over a comic book character is almost kind of silly. But I'm just letting you know I'm not on their side. So if you want to follow me, make sure you follow me here on this YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. This month of October is one of my favorite times of the year, so I will be posting a lot of the horror themed animations that I've created over the years. I've already posted 2 of them, so the Zombie Takeover is on this channel, as well as Nightmare Room, which I posted this week. So make sure you check that out. I have some horror themed artwork that's coming out pretty soon on this channel, so keep that in mind, and just keep posted on this channel and on my Instagram. Follow me as much as you can. If you want to see where all I am on social media, just go to my website at chriscrazyhouse.com. All of my links are there. All the links to the books that I am selling are also there. So the store on Amazon is open. You can buy my coloring books. It's getting close to the holiday season. That's the most popular time for my books. So please go to Amazon and buy the Naturally Cute coloring books. Like I said, I'm working hard trying to get volume 3 done before Black Friday. We shall see how that goes. It should go fairly fast. We'll see how if I can get there. Okay, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. I'm working on some artwork. I was working late last night till about excuse me, till about 1 in the morning just doing that. So I think there's a good chance I can get it all done. Anyway, thanks a lot for showing up, folks. I appreciate you as always. Well, once again, as a reminder, there will be no live stream next week. I'll be back the week after, and I'll let you know. Just make sure you follow me here, and you'll know what the subject matter will be about. Anyway, Chris Crazy House, signing out. Peace.